Good morning. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Hit that like button right now. Sign up to our Discord server. The link for that is in the description below. One of the most active and if you like a bit of banter and you like an active football community, the Football Terrace is the place to be. The live chat continues 24 hours a day in our Discord server, the Football Terrace server. We've got pages and chat rooms for all the top 6 clubs, transfer rumors, memes, everything you can imagine. Plus, you always get a notification when we go live as a channel. So make sure you get yourself signed up to that. We're here to talk some transfers this morning because January is fast approaching. There's lots of noise. There's lots of conversation going on about who's going to come into Man United, who's going to leave. There's a big talk about Dele Alli this morning leaving Tottenham and going to Paris Saint-Germain on loan. But I want your views. I want your opinions on this today. What is going to happen? What do you think is going to transpire? Can Ronaldo come back to Manchester United in a sensational swap deal with Paul Pogba? Or is it the media pulling upon the heartstrings of Manchester United fans in the midst of the turmoil that surrounds the Paul Pogba situation? Dele Alli leaving Tottenham. I mean, that looks an absolute dead cert as far as I'm concerned. Legitimately, I think it's a dead cert. There is legitimate problems. There is legitimate issues there at the football club. I don't think anybody could deny that in any way, shape, or form. There are certain problems that are going on there. How is that going to transpire over the course of the next few weeks and months? I mean, that's going to be something that stands out to me. Dele Alli's career at Tottenham looks dead, so something needs to happen there. And how about any other transfer rumors that you want to discuss? We're taking calls right now via the Discord server, so give us a call. Get yourself on. We want to hear from you right now. Jamal here, one of our Tottenham fans, says Dele not leaving. See, I don't see why he's going to stay. I don't even see why Jose Mourinho is going to keep him. Legit. I don't even understand why. But give us a call and have your say. DJ here. Yes, Terry. How you doing, bro? I'm good. Ultra67, not seen you in a while. One of our members. Nice to see you. Andrew here, another member of the Football Terrace. CR7 isn't coming back, period. And I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. Dwayne Anderson, hello to you. Hope you're good. Andrew Young here, another member of the Football Terrace, says the media are tugging at Man United fans' heartstrings. Surely not. Listen, it was Twitter this morning announced Man United are the most talked about club on social media. They didn't actually announce what percentage of tweets are about Manchester United. But the last time those statistics were released, it was something like 60% of all Premier League tweets about the Premier League involve Manchester United. So, of course, they're pulling on the heartstrings. And any Man United fan who thinks that there is a legitimate chance that Ronaldo's coming back at all, I think you're mad. Secondly, it ain't happening in January. And thirdly, it isn't the kind of business Man United need to be looking at, in my opinion. Not at the cost, not at the £400,000 a week Cristiano would cost. Man United needs to, listen, do you know what? I'm saying it couldn't happen, and I sit here and think about it, and I'm like, that's how much I don't trust Woodward. It would be a terrible move for the club. There's no doubt about that, in my opinion. I don't think it will happen. I pray it doesn't happen. But who knows with Woodward and this board? Who knows with Woodward and this board? They're just awful. Legitimate. O'Shea, you with us? O'Shea was with us. He's gone now. He might come back in a few moments. You can call in via Discord right now, people. Twisted said, Cristiano Ronaldo will come. Huge financial benefit for the owners. Well, that's my only other thought on that. Like, legitimately, that's what I was thinking. Is it just about them making money? And I'm sitting here all morning going, nah, this deal can't happen, won't happen, shouldn't happen. And then you think, is money going to be there? Could money be driving this? O'Shea, you with us, bro? No, O'Shea isn't here. I thought he called and then disappeared. I'm not too sure. We're going to get Hakim on the show. We're going to give him a call back. Just phone us via Discord now. It's hard to get excited with any transfers right now as there's no belief in this board. Yeah, I hear you on that one. That's how I feel about this whole thing. it's very, very difficult to kind of get behind this board and believe the board because of what's going on. But we've got O'Shea on the line with us now. O'Shea, what you saying, mate? Hello, buddy.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect, bro. Perfect. Yeah, there's transfer rumours this morning. Ronaldo to Man United, Pogba leaving in January, Dele Alli to Paris Saint-Germain. What's your thoughts, bro?
The first one was Ronaldo to United. Bro, this guy's been linked to United every season since he left. And Gareth Bale's the same. Both of them been linked to United every season since they left the Prem.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think that will happen. I don't even think that would be a good move as well. It's not like, don't get me wrong, if he came to the Prem, he'd probably win the Golden Boot. He'd probably win you the title. You know what I'm saying? It's Cristiano Ronaldo. But in the long term, it's not the best plan, because he likes long-term contracts, because he's going to keep going until he's in his 40s, and the wages he's on is just a risk. I wouldn't even, that would be a bad move.
Do you know what it comes down to? It's a bit like the Cavani deal. Cavani's on a 1-year deal with an opportunity to extend. The money's fairly high, but nowhere near Ronaldo's level. The problem with Man United is we had a big debate last night, and it was funny really, because throughout the course of the show, Gav was kind of blaming more the managers than he was the owners and the board, even though he slagged the board and the owners off a lot. And then when we finished the show behind the scenes, he was like, after speaking to you, well, actually, I do get that the board are probably the biggest problem. And this would strike me as it. If we get rid of Ronaldo, whatever we do, we get rid of Pogba, whatever Man United do, we have to replace Paul Pogba, either with a more attack-minded midfielder or someone that can play in that double pivot.
Well, I wouldn't say that necessarily, Terry. I'd say because Van der Beek is automatically replace Partey. That's what you need. You need a Fabinho, a Kante, Thomas Partey.
Yes, but that's what I mean. I don't mean a like-for-like replacement. I mean, we need someone to play in areas or positions. Paul Pogba can either play further forward, so I would look at, you could argue someone like a Jackie Grealish, or he can play deeper. And then you look at like Ndidi. That's my point. Getting rid of Pogba as a midfield player and buying a striker just seems like it's just ridiculous. And I get Van der Beek can slip into that position. But the one thing that's been great about this campaign so far is that if Pogba gets a knock, we have Van der Beek that can come in. If Bruno's got an injury, we suddenly have a bit of strength in depth. And what we were hoping for as United fans is that United, Oli and Pogba could resolve their differences and he could sign a new deal. And then that we've got all three of them. So we need that. And for me, if we just go and, if we got rid of Pogba and we went and bought Sancho, as much as buying Sancho would make me happy, I'd be like, well, now we've got a hole somewhere else. And that's my problem with Man United. I've been saying this for weeks. To all the Oli outers, to all the Pogba haters that think getting rid of those two people fix our problems. We are kick a can FC. We fix one hole we fix one hole in the roof, and then we move on to another area, but then then another hole gets created, and generally by our own dodgy work.
Terry, I think for the short term, signing Ronaldo would you'd probably win the league if you signed him, because it's Ronaldo, innit? You know what I mean? Signing Ronaldo or Messi, I don't fucking Sheffield United could sign Ronaldo or Messi and they'd probably win the league. They're talking about the greatest of all time, but in the long term, it's not a good deal. As for the Dele Alli deal, I've said many times on the terrace, I want Dele Alli at Liverpool, because I just look at Jurgen Klopp. And I think he's not got the best out of every single player, but he's got the best out of the majority of players we've signed. And a lot of these players are far surpassed their ceiling. And I look at Dele Alli and I've seen him when he's played at his best, and I've seen what he's capable of. And I'm just imagining that player under Jurgen Klopp doing that consistently. And I just think he'd be an animal at Liverpool.
I think, do you know what? I've always rated Dele Alli. And I think I've said this for about 2 years now. Because, do you know what's interesting in football? It's not very many players on a percentage scale who can stay at one club for 5, 10, 15 years, progress as a youngster, become brilliant, and then maintain that level. Most players need a move. You go through the Premier League era, and I'm talking top-level players performing at the level Dele Alli was at a couple of years ago. You can think of Gerrard, who, yes, he left, but Premier League-wise, he didn't. He went abroad afterwards. Like Lampard and John Terry stayed at one place and were really good. Obviously, the class of 92 are a prime example. Wayne Rooney at Man United for a decade or so, Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah.
But most players, you look at it, they last at the very best at a club 4 or 5 years.
These players are very hard to come by. This is why I've said.
But that's my point.
You know?
But I'll show you, that's my point I'm making. So they're hard to come by.
Yeah,
Dele Alli needs to change. A change is as good as a rest. I think going somewhere new manager, clean slate would rejuvenate him. And the great thing for anyone looking to buy Dele Alli is that he's still very young, and because he's fallen out of favor, I think he can be picked up quite cheaply. Dele Alli 2-3 years ago would have cost you 80-90 million. Now, I think you could get him for 35-40.
Do you know what's good about it as well, Terry? Because for me, I look at Dele Alli as almost a direct Oxlade-Chamberlain replacement, because Oxlade-Chamberlain, as much as I like the guy, he needs to go. He's injury prone. And all he is really now is the head of our YouTube channel. That's all he is now. That's all he does. So he needs to go. And I'm just imagining, imagine replacing these, like, I don't like to use the word deadwood, but imagine replacing these deadwood players like Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Shaqiri, and buying actual replacements that are going to come into the team and play. Imagine you get rid of Ox and you bring in Dele Alli for the same price. The guy's not injury prone like Ox. Do you know where I'm coming from? For me, Dele Alli's ceiling is so high. And like you said before, these players that will stick it out at one club are very hard to come by. This is why I've said many times, Liverpool need to treat Trent and Curtis like royalty. You guys need to treat Rashford like royalty. City need to treat Foden like royalty. Arsenal need to do the same with Bukayo Saka, because these are the players that are going to stay there for 10, 15 years. Do you know what I mean? So it's a difficult one, but yeah, I'd love Dele Alli at Liverpool. I'm just picturing in my head him after 6 months of playing under Jurgen Klopp and Pep Linders, and having all the players around him that have that mentality monsters, that winning mentality.
No,
it'd just be mad.
I hear you on that, O'Shea. Thank you very much for calling in and having your say, mate. Really do appreciate it. You heard it there first. O'Shea would like Dele Alli to replace, in his eyes, deadwood Naby Keita at Liverpool. Liverpool fans, what do you think and feel? A shout out here. David Whitford says, hi, Terry. Great show. Can I get a shout out? Yes, you can, my friend. Also, big RIP today. Peggy Mitchell, a.k.a. Barbara Windsor, or the other way around, passed away. Sad news again. Another absolute British legend leaves us, but with some great memories. Also, Carry On star as well. Some of you won't even know what Carry On films are, but they're amazing. Scholar here, 1987, says, I honestly see us replacing Pogba with Dele Alli in January. United always have been admirers of him, and Fergie loves him. Easy switch for Ali as well. Can you? Yeah, but Dele Alli's main position is a 10, isn't it? Where's Bruno going? I really rated Dele Alli, and I felt for a long time he could do bits at United. And maybe he still can. And maybe I'm missing something slightly. I'm just not too sure. We're going to get an Arsenal fan on here. Flaky Chimera Arsenal. I don't know what that means, but we're going to give him a call. We're going to get on the air now and have a little say with this Arsenal fan in a few moments. But make sure you're smashing that like button, people, and that you're subscribing to our Discord server. Now, welcome to the show, mate. Flaky Arsenal fan, what are you saying?
Hi, Terry. How are you?
I'm very good. What do you want to say, buddy?
Well, on Ronaldo to Man United, I kind of agree with the previous caller. I think for me, it doesn't really make sense, because whenever I saw Man United play, it seems a more of fast counter-attacking play, whereas nowadays I see Ronaldo more as a fox in the box type of player. I'm not sure what you think.
I understand that trait. Yeah, he definitely isn't going to be running down the wings like he did for Man United 10, 11 plus years ago. I think those days are gone for Ronaldo due to his age and obviously wanting to maintain his body. I don't think he'd be a bad signing in the short term. I think he would score goals. I think he could push us further up the league. I think it would be a great signing commercially. There's a great romantic story about him returning. But I suppose do you know what? My mind's literally changing while I'm live on the air. Until we make proper changes at the football club and start to behave like a proper football club. We're Vibes FC anyway. And if we're Vibes FC, then maybe it's just about buying for the here and now. You know, we've got fans that are happy to chop and change managers willy-nilly with no actual club plan. They're fine with that. So why shouldn't we be happy just to sign players willy-nilly with no club plan? It's exactly the same logic. It really, really is. But there we go, bro. I appreciate your call and having your. Actually, one other question, bro. You're an Arsenal fan, Dele Alli. Give me your thoughts on him.
Yeah.
Because 2-3 years ago, he was one of the best players in the Premier League. I think he got to 50 goals in the Premier League quicker than Frank Lampard. And I use Frank Lampard as the benchmark as the highest goal scoring midfielder in Premier League history. But he's gone off the boil the last few years. Do you think Dele Alli has just been found out, or is this more of a case that he just needs a change?
I think like with Dele Alli, those seasons that he was scoring like 20 plus goals, which were incredible. He was in his early 20s, even as a teenager. It was almost as like a second striker. Reminds me what kind of Bruno Fernandes does now, playing very high up the pitch, often right next to the Harry Kane or the striker or whatever. I think like if you notice in the last season of Pochettino, they kind of changed their system and became like a very narrow formation, and he kind of started to drop off. And now I don't know what's happening with him and Mourinho, but yeah, it's kind of sad to see on.
I hear that. Thank you very much for your call. It's very kind of you as an Arsenal fan to say that it's sad to see, but I do hear that. Twisted Bubba here, one of our members, says, why can't Dele adapt to changing football? Personally, I don't think it's about adapting to football. I think it's about needing a change, as in a change of scenery. Most players can't do it. They can't stay at one place 5, 6, 7 plus years. You know, they need that change. They need that re-injection. A lot of players are like that. And I think Dele Alli is one of them. We've got Sarim on the line now. Sarim, are you there, bro?
Yeah, I'm there.
How you doing? What do you want to say? What's in your mind?
About the Ronaldo to United thing, I think it's just hilarious. You had this debate on yesterday, and it'd be sold Ed Woodward that he does this the next day of these links coming out. It's just, you can't write this. This is the best story in the world as a local fan.
On that show we did last night, a lot of this, as you say, came up in conversation. It was interesting because Gav, I love Gav from LFC Data. He's a knowledgeable guy, knows his football. And even Aaron did it to an extent. They would consistently sit there and say things about how bad our transfer windows are, no plan, no direction, no policy, overspending, but then but the manager's the main problem. And then you see stories like today, and you're thinking, where's the plan? You know, what world is getting rid of Paul Pogba and signing Cristiano Ronaldo good business? In the sense of you weaken your midfield area and then strengthen the striking area, but you leave a hole somewhere.
And you've got someone who plays on the left as well, in Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, and we know that Rashford isn't at Ronaldo's level, and nobody's claiming that. Yeah. But you're in that sort of space of it just doesn't make sense on a footballing sense, right? By the way, if we hadn't signed Cavani and we were going, look, we want a 30-plus player for a couple of years to fill that number 9 role, I'd have gone okay. But you've already gone and signed Cavani on a 2-year deal at £250,000 a week. So why are you going to add 400 grand a week in? Do you know we're currently spending about £27 million a year on 3 goalkeepers?
I'm not surprised. It's ridiculous. Like, I remember you guys were saying yesterday, Rojo's on 80 grand a week. I almost fell off my chair. I'm genuine. I'm not lying. I'm being serious. How are you paying this guy 80k a week?
Mate, and
he's doing nothing, and he's terrible.
And this is the point I've made on numerous occasions to people. I'm beyond. If we lose tomorrow, and we're doing a preview 9 p.m. tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on the Football Terrace, and we're ranking the Man United first 11 versus the City first 11. So make sure you're tuning in 9 p.m. Don't be anywhere else but the Football Terrace. Also doing a Premier League preview show at 5:30 this afternoon as well. So tune in for that as well. But the point I was kind of making in that yesterday, you know, when we're talking about if City lose tomorrow, if Man United lose tomorrow to City, yeah, I'll be frustrated if we make tactical issues, this issue, that issue. But like I've said, if you go back through the past 8 years and watch fan channels and fan cams after major defeats, listen to what's being said, but block out the words Moyes, LVG, Jose, Fellaini, Rooney, Pogba. It's the same stuff. Everybody's saying the same things, and you literally have it yesterday.
Yeah,
This is the biggest hypocrisy that shows me the club's in trouble. You'll get fans that will say, Ollie's trash, this squad could win the league. But then 2 years running, they tell you, we've done terrible business in the transfer window. So, okay, we've done terrible business in the transfer window. We've got a squad full of dead wood. Most of the Ollie outers don't rate AWB, don't rate Luke Shaw, don't rate Lindelof, don't rate Maguire, don't rate Scott McTominay, don't rate Matic, don't rate Rashford, don't rate Dan James, right? That's to name a few. Quite a few of them don't even rate Bruno. They're the ones that say things like he gives the ball away too much. So there's 7, 8, 9 players there within our first team or first 13, 14 players that are used. They don't rate, but yet the squad's good enough to win the league. None of it makes any sense. At the end of the day, it's just crazy. Mate, the whole thing's crazy. And if Man United get Cristiano Ronaldo, there'll be a feel-good factor. There'll be a romantic element to it that'll be nice. He'll score loads of goals. But again, it isn't going to fix Man United. It's literally, like I said yesterday, we've got major cracks in our walls because we've got subsidence. Buying Ronaldo is the equivalent of filling those cracks with polyfiller and painting over them. You're not fixing the problem.
I think also as well, if you give it 6 months, you're just going to have a bunch of United fans going, oh, this guy's past the sell by date. He used to be great. Get out of my club. They'll be willing to chase him out of Manchester again. You've done it with legends before. You've done it with Wayne Rooney. He's one of the greatest strikers in your history of the club. And it's like, give him a bit of respect. Like, okay, he's past his sell by date, but it's not his fault that he's here. It's the board's fault that he's still here. They should have moved him on years ago.
Especially if he takes Martial's position in the team, because he'll get attacked by Martial FC.
Oh yeah,
but that's what happens every time, bro. This is what happens all the time. If Martial didn't play in the same position as at times as Rashford, more of these weird United fans would rate Rashford. If Bruno Fernandes hadn't come in, if Bruno Fernandes was a right-sided winger and came in and was as good as he was, they'd all love him. But it's because he plays in a position that they want Pogba in that they hate on him. And it's clear as a night as day. But all of this happens because of the imbalance and the poor running of the football club. And like I've said before, and I don't need to be told what the plan is. I don't want to hear what the plan is by Man United until I see a strategy. Until I see, and I'm only going to believe there's a new strategy in place if there's changes in personnel at board level making decisions. That's it. Or if we can see continued improvement. Because I guarantee you one thing. If Allegri comes in tomorrow and over a 2 to 3 year period, we improve, we win the league and we get better, you'll get all the Ollie outers now. So he told you it was just getting rid of the manager. But I guarantee you what you'll find when it all comes out in the wash, that there is huge structural changes that have been made at the same time. These two things just coincide with one another always. And this Ronaldo deal, again, it just strikes me as more, what would look good right now? What would lessen the blow? Like, what would lessen the embarrassment of Paul Pogba leaving, never really feeling the full potential we thought he was going to have? I know. Let's create a romantic story and bring back Ronaldo, because it will, from a media coverage point of view, it will overshadow Pogba leaving, if you get where I'm coming from. And then when all the dust settles, you're right. Then the fans will be like, yeah, but he ain't the Ronaldo he let go of. He's not the Ronaldo of 4 or 5 years ago. Where's the long-term plan? And if he comes back in 6 months, have you seen like Gareth Bale? I know Gareth Bale has a lot more injury problems than Ronaldo, but Gareth Bale looks like an old man at the minute. He doesn't look like the Gareth Bale we know and love.
The same that he was.
And if Ronaldo hits the wall in 6 months to a year, and then we've got another 2 years of him, like if we end up pulling off a Willian or an Aubameyang, where you put a man on a long, massive contract and he doesn't perform, there'll be more carnage. I just don't want to take in that risk. And if we do get rid of Pogba, it has to be a midfield replacement that comes in for him. The whole thing stinks.
I think what else it is as well, like, don't take this the wrong way, but I think United are going to become more irrelevant as the years go by. And I think this link helps them in terms of going, look, we're still a big club. We can attract Ronaldo, one of the best players of all time. And I think it stinks of that as well, that it feels desperate. It feels like you're trying to hold on to something that you were 10 years ago, and looks like it's slowly.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it reminds me of? It's like, do you know what? I'm going to a wedding and my ex-girlfriend's going to be there. She's got a new man and I've got no one. So this is the equivalence to me of going into Yellow Pages and phoning up Starlight Escorts and going, listen, I need the most expensive lady for the night, please, just to be on my arm. And you turn up with, that's what it's like. It's real. It's fake. There's no substance behind it. It might look to the outsiders, look at he's pulled. Look at his new bird.
Yeah.
But you know in your heart, it is shallow, empty, cheap. There's nothing real.
Yeah.
Man United are literally hiring escorts to wind up and make our ex-girlfriends jealous. That's the problem. But the issue is that our ex-girlfriend knows that we've hired it. Knows. This is it, brother. Man United, we're just Escort FC, bruv. Escort FC. It's a madness. It really is. I had a super chat here from Alexander, who says, Terry, why do you think Fabinho has done well at centre-back? It's because Liverpool has a proper setup, or is it just a good look? Well, Fabinho's done well at centre-back because he was a defender before he was a midfielder, bro. So, you know, if you put Henderson as your centre-back or Naby Keita as your centre-back, they wouldn't be doing as well as Fabinho. It's because he was a defender first, with respect. With respect.
Yeah.
Plus Jurgen Klopp is right now probably the best manager in the world. Ollie's not. So it's weird, isn't it? Like if Fergie was managing,
I think it's motivation as well.
Yeah.
The way you can motivate players is ridiculous. Like I think if you ask them to jump off a bridge, I think half these players would. Well, all the players would. For the way he's getting them to play, especially during this kind of crisis, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, would
similar to what Fergie used to do?
Yeah, would you? You know, and when Jose is at his best, and I look at Tottenham right now, those Tottenham players right now would run through probably barring Dele Alli, they would run through a brick wall for him. And United don't have that.
They're calling Jose Mourinho daddy at the moment.
Yeah, no, exactly. And look, with Man United, look, I do think Ollie's a problem. I do think he's a concern because I don't know if he's good enough as an overall manager to get people to do that for him. But then the buck still drops with the owners because not only have they employed him, but they're allowing this to continue. How close are they to their business? How close are they to their organization? How close are they to the structure to go, do you know what? This is really falling apart. There are more rumors today of conversations with Poch. It's like, if you really want Poch, just sack Ollie and get Poch. It's mad.
That's the thing that probably frustrates me the most when I watch United. It's just like they can't make a decision. Just go with something. Just do something. Just say we are going to do this and stick by guns. Even if you want to go right, we're playing long ball football. We're going to get Sam Allardyce in, give him 4 years. Then after that, Tony Pulis. It's still an idea. It's still something that you want to go with. These guys, they just ricochet from one idea to another. They go with flavor of the month. They, I don't know, read the gossip columns to see who you want to sign.
And you know what, my brother?
Sign them instead.
And my brother, this is exactly what we spoke about last night. This exact thing is what came up last night, and I stand by it. There's no plan. And whatever the plan is,
I agree with you.
We change direction, and that's club level because the manager will come in and the coach will come in and have a plan. And what tends to happen is first 6, 12, 18 months, the club goes, and then the pressure builds up. The media start to talk. Some ex-players say things. Fans have got stuff trending, and they get sticky. They get cold feet, and they get a bit sort of jerky, and they get a bit knee-jerk reaction and they move in a new direction. So it doesn't matter. And this is why yesterday, we got a great question from Stefan at the end of the show, who basically said, "Do we actually think any manager can be successful with the Glazers and Woodward in charge, operating as they do now?" And that's a very key point here. Because my argument in all of this isn't, I don't want to win this argument. I don't want to go for another 2-3 managers and they all fail and me sit there going, "See, I told you." What I want is for Man United to make those structural changes, have a plan of action, stick to it, and when it gets hairy, when it comes on top, and I use a Cockney expression, when it gets a little bit on top, they stick by their guns and they push through it. Until we do that, we will not yield the success that other big clubs in Europe have seen, and maybe that will then set a precedent. But my fear is that they won't do it. And the reason my fear is there, it's not based on a gut feeling. It isn't based on anything other than history and facts. That they have done it once every 2 years on average for 8 years. To suddenly think that they're just going to change is a madness. I don't understand where anybody gets the faith that suddenly they're just going to do it different. And even if Poch comes in and we have 6 months of beautiful football, I'm going to enjoy that and I'll praise it because I'm not bitter. but I'm not going to be convinced it's going to continue until I see it happen. And I've said this before about a lot of Chelsea fans think Lampard's here for the long haul. Chelsea are changing their approach. More youth are going to be used going forward forever. It's great seeing it a year in. In 5-6 years, we assess it. Then we know whether what you said is true. You can't assess it in the moment because football is reactionary. It's as simple as that. It's a live event that happens each week. So in 3 or 4 years, if we look back and Lampard's still there, he's gone through some rough patches and kept his job, and youth academy players are still being used and developed and brought through and not replaced as regularly as they were between John Terry and Reece James getting opportunities, then I'll believe it's happened. I'm happy to take on board. Do you get where I'm coming from? And until I see 4 or 5 years that this board have changed their approach, I don't want to hear anyone saying, he told you it was the managers, Terry. Well, we don't know that yet. Let's wait. Because
it's easy when things are going well that you could go, we're going to back this all the way. It's when things hit the pan and you're just like, you're going to pull the trigger now or never. And Roman has a habit of that. He's always said, I'm going to change. I want to play this kind of football, that kind of football, bring Andreas Villas-Boas in. He's had him buried with the fishes, didn't he? 6 months later, and he brought someone else in and went back to the old style just to win trophies.
And the only difference between Chelsea and United, or the major difference, which gives Chelsea a massive benefit here, and this isn't me attacking Chelsea, it's that Roman's outlook is to win the Premier League, to win the Champions League. I don't think that's in the top 5 priorities at Manchester United. So at least when Roman's doing it, or not even at least, the reason Roman's doing it is I don't think I'm going to win the league with this manager in this way. Let's find someone that can win the league with this squad and these players. And that's the standard that's set. With Man United, I don't think they care about that as a football club. And that makes it even worse because you're changing directions every 5 minutes, but you're not running to, and we know this again because all the ex-managers have told us this. They've all come out and literally said these very things. that they don't care. They don't care about the football.
Sorry, can I add to about the changes to United?
Yeah,
I think the changes will come eventually. And what I mean by that, I mean in terms of sponsorship money, because that's where a lot of money comes from for United.
Yeah.
And when these sponsors turn around to them, when it comes to renewal, for example, with Adidas, they're going to turn around and say, we're not giving you the money that we gave you originally because you're not that team anymore. We'll give you much less. And Chevrolet, I think it was yourself who said it when they sacked the guy who brokered the deal.
Yeah.
So they're not coming back with a higher with a pay rise on that.
There's talk about them there is talk about a new deal coming, but it stems around. This is the problem. I read this the other day, and it goes under the radar with Man United fans. But I read this the other day, and I want to find the article. It's United have extended. The United Chevrolet deal actually got extended.
Okay.
It goes. Man United have taken up an option to extend the sponsorship deal with Chevrolet by another year or so. So that was the first one that I read. That was back in October. But I read something the other day. There we go. There it is. So this is the article I read, and I haven't delved into this, but it goes. See, and it's to do with Ronaldo. Man United shirt sponsor Chevrolet are ready to bankroll a move to bring global superstar Cristiano Ronaldo back to Man United. Now, that was on the 7th. That is my issue. Chevrolet want to or have looked at pulling out of this deal because it was so ludicrous how much they decided to pay Man United. As I say, within a week of signing the deal, they sacked the broker. The parent company, Chevrolet, were like, we had no idea about this. You're dumb, bruv. It's mad. It's sacked. They probably didn't say, bro.
I thought you were lying when you said that. I had to Google it just to.
No, like legit, bro. This is the thing about the research I do on the financial side. Like, it's legit. Like these things happen, and Chevrolet are now basically saying to Man United, we are happy to extend the deal further at the current rate, which nobody else is willing to pay Man United. But you've got to go and sign Ronaldo, and that's my issue. That story there had legs, as far as I'm concerned. And that would be it. If Man United were told, listen, we'll continue to pay the same money, but we want Ronaldo sitting in a Chevrolet because Ronaldo is bigger than big. And we want Ronaldo sitting in Chevrolet. We want Ronaldo retweeting an Instagram posting about Chevrolet 3 or 4 times a year because every time, do you know how much an Instagram post by Cristiano Ronaldo is? For him to for him to post an actual post, it's about 750 to 800 grand a pop. Right? For him to like a post, It's about £250,000. So Chevrolet, of course, won't pay that individually. It'll be Man United. Look, we'll keep paying you, but you have to sign Ronaldo. And if you sign Ronaldo, then these would be the quote. And this is what I keep saying to people that go, Terry, boycotting sponsors doesn't work. It does. Because there is one thing that always gets ignored. There are quotas. There are quotas within sponsorship. So none of the money's paid up. Some of the money's paid up front. Most of it's paid in installments. Man United will be quoted to hit a certain reach with their social media posts. They'll be quoted via the websites of pushing a certain amount of traffic their way. There'll be quotas for a certain amount of units to be sold. Do you get where I'm coming from? There'll be quotas to hit to achieve your money, as well as qualifying. As well as qualifying for Champions Leagues, not bringing the sponsors in to distribute. United fans have all the control and power here, but we have no bottle to do anything about it. So if you've got Chevrolet that are turning around to Man United and saying, we will pay basically for Cristiano Ronaldo by continuing this sponsorship deal, and then we sign him because Chevrolet are going to give us money, that's my whole point. We are not making decisions to win Premier League titles. We are making decisions to keep the money rolling in. And like you've said, as long as we can keep earning money, Man United won't change. And like you said earlier, we can become more irrelevant on a football sense, but as long as we keep signing global stars because the big sponsors are paying us to, that's where our money goes. Rather than reinvesting that money in the long term to fix the holes in the roof at Old Trafford, making our youth academy even better, keeping the right level players, signing the right youngsters coming through, getting in the best coaches, improving our scouting network, we would rather spend extra money on wages for superstars that keeps the sponsorship money coming in so that one, the value of the club remains pretty stable. And secondly, the Glazers get to take 20 to 25 million pound a year out the club in dividends. That's what they're here for. They use us as an asset to secure other business deals globally. And they earn 23 million pound a year out of a business they do nothing for. It's United fans are being absolutely screwed over. And any United fan that buys Chevrolet, if this deal happens, any Man United fan that buys Chevrolet, you're as bad for this club as Woodward, and you're as bad for this club as the Glazers. And by the way, by buying Chevrolet, that means buying a football kit. If you buy a football kit, you're endorsing these deals by proxy. And until Man United fans grow a pair, until Man United fans stand up against this malignant running of the football club, we are never going to improve. This is on the owners and on the Glazers, but also the Man United fans who consistently feed the monster. It's a disgrace. And I forgot about that article until you brought our sponsors. And I was like, oh, I read this the other day. It all comes together. Maybe we are going to go. Top of this video, I said, no chance. I changed my mind. That's why I love talking to people like yourself. Open my eyes to things. United could end up bringing Ronaldo back purely for money. And then I want to see the look on the Ollie Out Brigade. I want to see the Ollie Out Brigade then defend this insidious running of the football club. It's a disgrace.
You know what? It'll happen when the fans realise that, it takes time sometimes, like I'm going to say this, so I was a huge Brendan Rodgers fan when he was at Liverpool. I opened my eyes when he lost 6-1, I've just thought he's not it for the club. He needs to move on now. You have to have that moment, like that. I don't know how to explain it. That kind of one moment when you just realize that, okay, maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe it isn't the right way to go about it. I think you said it yourself. You had it a few years ago under LVG or Mourinho. So it's going to take time for these fans to realize what's really going on and how to fix the club properly.
I get that. Listen, brilliant call from yourself. Thank you very much for coming on, having your say, mate. Really, really, really do appreciate that. Thank you. Daniel here with Super Chat says, every year the manager is the scapegoat at clubs run like Arsenal and Manchester United. I feel sorry for Ole and Arteta. Sheldon here says, because Jeep stocks went up when he moved to Juve. Did they? See, again, and that's the research you need to look at. The sponsors of Juve, did their stocks rise? Did they get more interest? Did more social media posts get seen? How much work did Ronaldo do with them? There's a reason that companies sponsor football clubs, and it's because they get reach, because they earn money out of it. That's what we care about more than anything else. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Remember, we're back 5:30 this afternoon doing a Premier League preview, looking ahead at all the games of the weekend. 9 p.m. Manchester Derby preview. that stream's already available on the Football Terrace homepage. So where you are right now, click on the homepage, go like that, set a reminder for when we go live, please. Really need your support this evening. We're going to be ranking the Man United versus Man City teams. Also, download or subscribe to our Discord server. The link for that is in the description below. Until then, take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you all soon.